it has the aura to me of one of those baseball contracts, one of those 7, 8, or 9-year baseball contracts, where in the last 3 years you say, what were we thinking of? I'm just saying.
I don't expect the national championship. I expect more Jimbo Fisher than that.
Wouldn't it be great if someone went to Florida State and then you could see? Then you could have a comparison. The Cleveland Cavaliers won their 10th straight game last night, beating the Hawks Atlanta. Now, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Cleveland as if they'd lost it. Now they've found it. The only team with a longer winning streak this year is Boston, and the Celtics won last night behind Kyrie Irving's 36 points. Wilbon, we are a quarter of the way through the regular season. I ask you, who is more likely to win the MVP, LeBron James or Kyrie Irving?
Well, Tony, one thing you know, and I do vote for this particular award, all those awards at the end of the season.
You vote MVP?
I do. Yep. People tend to get tired, maybe, of the same person time after time after time. And they were like 8 or 9 years.
When was the last time he actually
Jordan
won?
Could have won it.
When was the last time LeBron actually
there
won?
Was interruption. There was interruption in 2011 with Derrick Rose. I think he won a couple more years, and then it gets
Durant won
one. Curry won twice.
Last year. Westbrook. So I don't hear
it's been like 5 years.
Well,
Kyrie's the surprise. I mean, in this way, you thought he's going to make a difference. Boston's going to be better. Did you think they necessarily, after losing the player they got in free agency to build around, would have the best record in the league and the longest winning streak?
No,
you didn't think
did not. By the way, in my year, 2013, the last time for LeBron. So that is the size of the jump.
That's a while.
LeBron is 28-8-8 so far. This is the best numbers he's ever taken out of November. Now, you know, Kyrie Irving to me is a sexy choice. He's a great player. He's a clutch player. He will be forgiven, I believe, his selfishness in wanting to leave LeBron, and he will be praised for his leadership, and it's justified because they're 19-4.
Yeah.
But LeBron James, and I got to point this out to you.
What?
And I know there's voter fatigue. LeBron James is playing without a point guard. He doesn't have Kyrie Irving, and he doesn't have Isaiah Thomas. So he's the point guard. He's playing all 5.
He's the best point guard anyway.
He's playing all 5 positions.
Tristan Thompson's been out. Derrick Rose not there.
So he's the best player. As a voter, do you think there are voters who will take it out on Kyrie Irving for leaving Cleveland?
I hope not. I mean, to me, when you leave, to me as a voter, when you leave a place and you double down and you say, I'll leave this guy.
And you succeeded.
And you go and you succeed in a tough place where there are expectations. Boston, maybe not as crazy as Texas A&M, but Boston's got expectations.
Let's take a break. Coming up, Auburn beat Georgia easily a few weeks back. We've got 4 huge college football games tomorrow, so let's bring in someone who actually knows what they're talking about. Our good friend from College Game Day, Mr. David Pollack, who just took off his tie, by the way, so that he would look much more casual.
Casual Friday.
Let's start with us. TCU and Oklahoma for the Big 12. Oklahoma won easily when they met just 3 weeks ago. Do you expect something different this time?
I expect TCU to keep it closer. TCU's got to find a way to play keep away. I mean, they just literally, Kenny Hill and company need to run the football. They need to run the option. They need to not worry about his health and try to win the time of possession because Gary Patterson showed you. And one thing you're going to see when and if Oklahoma gets in the Final Four is there is not a team in the country that's going to stop Oklahoma's offense. It's the most dominant force in college football. So they're going to get theirs, and you got to try to play keep away. Maybe if you can force Baker Mayfield in a couple bad decisions. I think TCU can hang around because I think they can score some points. But Oklahoma right now, their defense is actually trending in the right direction at the right time. So I think Oklahoma with that offense is going to be a handful for anybody. And they got a good shot to win this whole thing.
Let's move to a game in conference near and dear to your heart. Auburn and Georgia, the rematch for the SEC title. Auburn rolled Georgia in their first matchup. What does Georgia have to do differently?
You know, Georgia's done some things differently that I've already noticed that in thoughts for this game, in this rematch, or who they played with Alabama. Ben Cleveland now playing right guard. He's the strongest guy on Georgia's team, and he is enormous, 6'7", 320 pounds. They inserted him a little bit more physical on the line of scrimmage. Defensively, they ran more of a 4-man front with, Lorenzo Carter now at the linebacker spot. So they brought in more beef as opposed to that 3-4 when they faced Kentucky, which is a similar type offense to Auburn. So I think they made some changes. And here's the thing, guys. Kerryon Johnson's banged up. That doesn't just make a difference because of this game. Cam Martin, the backup Martin's been banged up. Petway's already been out. Auburn could be looking at their 4th-string tailback. So that makes a huge difference in this ball game. Auburn obviously traveling away from home. Now, here's the one thing. When I watch the tape over and over and over again, and I can draw up all these great scheme guys, and I can say, Auburn or Georgia should do this or Georgia should do that. The bottom line is Auburn dominated on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Auburn has the better quarterback. So I think because of that, you see the advantages for Auburn. But them having to travel away from their place, that's where they've lost. They've lost in Death Valley, both Death Valleys, at LSU and in Clemson this season. They've struggled more, obviously, on the road, and this will be a road game for them or a neutral site.
Miami is at number 1. Clemson, well, they're not at Clemson. I mean, but they're playing Clemson for the ACC championship.
Here in Charlotte.
Yeah. Clemson is a heavy favorite. Surprisingly to me, is it surprising to you? Should Clemson be this much of a favorite?
Yes, Clemson should be this much of a favorite because Clemson's consistent. I know what I'm getting from Clemson. When I turn on the tape from Clemson, that defense is going to suffocate. That offense can run the football. Kelly Bryant will make plays running the football, and he'll make some plays in the passing game. When I turn on the tape of Miami and I watch a first quarter or watch a game against Notre Dame, I'm like, bro, these dudes are the best in the country. This is one of the best teams I've seen. And then you turn on Pitt and you go, what the heck is this? I mean, too much up and down and too much inconsistency, and now the injury bug has hit them worse with not only tight end, but their best playmaker, Richards, at wide receiver, is now out too. So I think that Clemson's offense isn't dominant. It isn't the team that's going to run the ball down your throat the whole time, especially with that Miami defensive front seven. But Miami has just been too inconsistent. So I definitely feel the most confident about all these championship games. I feel the most confident in Clemson.
All right, let's go to the conference game that's near and dear to my heart, the Big Ten. I've been on the Wisconsin bandwagon all year long, David, and now I think I'm jumping off. I don't see a way for them to beat Ohio State. If the right Ohio State team shows up, which one do you expect to see? The great Ohio State team or the one that lost a couple of times?
I think the quarterback situation for Ohio State is an offense that we've seen JT Barrett. They depend more on his legs than they do his arm in big games. You've seen it time and time again. Penn State's the only game that I can point to of the contrary. Dude had surgery on Sunday. He just had surgery. I mean, they can't depend on him. Haskins came in last week and looked great, looked the part. Actually, you could probably say looked better than JT at spurts and might be the better option. But if the great Ohio State shows up, they got a chance to win. But you know, if the Ohio State team that showed up against Iowa, then they'll get ran out of the building.
I feel better now about Wisconsin.
Thank you so much, David for making Wilbon feel better.
Just talked me off the ledge.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
On Wisconsin, baby. On Wisconsin.
College Game Day hits the air tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. Let's take one last break. Still to come, Brian Cashman says he knows who he wants to hire for the Yankees. How about a...
Buy Sky Vodka. Make every day. Please drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Ever? Happy time, people. Happy 25th birthday, Javi Baez.
Javi!
The Cubs' second baseman had another solid regular season.
Solid?
In fact, his power numbers were up to 23 homers and 75 RBI, which is very good for a second baseman.
Part-timer.
His playoff numbers, however, were anemic. In 10 games, Baez batted only .077, had 2 RBI. Wilbon, you still like him?
I love him. He could be one of the great infielders in baseball. He's got to cut that strikeout rate down. But they're talking about the possibility of trading him. Cubs got to get some pitching. I don't want to trade Javi Baez. Great defender. He could be a better hitter.
Tell Theo. Not so happy anniversary, Morgan Freeman. On this day 7 years ago, the Academy Award-winning actor was giving a spirited pitch for a World Cup in the U.S. to FIFA officials when he realized he lost his place. And then he said,
Mr. Page.
I'm sorry, I missed the page. We didn't get the World Cup, but I don't blame Morgan Freeman. Hoke, you're my best friend.
If we start listing the great actors of the last 40 years,
He's in it.
Freeman's got to be in the list, right?
He's in it. Sure. Happy trails to a game for the Edmonton Oilers. Late in a 4-4 game, Edmonton's defenseman Chris Russell tried to clear the puck and instead put it past his own goaltender, giving Toronto a 5-4 lead.
Wow.
After the game, Russell said, I can't remember this ever happening. Well, you can watch it on YouTube for the rest of your life.
Wow, was he disoriented? He got spun around, maybe?
I don't know.
I love the Oilers uniforms, by the way. Love their jerseys.
They've always
Sweaters.
been great. One error, Tennessee's chancellor is a woman, Beverly Davenport.
Get that right.
I got it.
Come
right.
on now.
Big finish, here we go.
Let's do it.
Brian Cashman says he's done interviewing candidates for manager and has settled on his recommendation. Who's it going to be?
I don't know. I hope it's A-Rod, and you do too, because that would be fun. Ole Miss is banned from bowls again next season, but the NCAA went sort of light on Hugh Freeze. You surprised?
Yes, he was in charge of the entire program, and when this stuff came out, it seemed to me he was in total denial that any of it happened. Come on. Aaron Rodgers is on track to practice tomorrow. Your thoughts?
Look, he's got to remain on IR for a couple of weeks, but if you got Aaron Rodgers practicing, and if Hundley can hold the fort with these non-teams the next couple of weeks, they can get to the playoffs. The World Cup draw was this morning. Which is the group of death, Mr. Kornheiser?
The United States, Italy, the Netherlands, and Chile. I don't know.
You're out.
You know what? We're not in it. This is not, I don't.
You're not going to Russia with me?
No. You going to Russia?
Yeah.
Is that where it is?
Yes.
I didn't know.
Come on.
Last one, Pac-12 championship tonight. Stanford and USC. Who you got?
North always wins the Pac-12 championship. Plus, SC won early this year. I'm going with Stanford.
A lot of time. We'll try and do better the next time, and I'm